we go. Okay. Some of my most annotated books. This is definitely not all of them, but these are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. I'll make another video when I find more of them, but these are some of the most annotated books. Some of them I can remember, but they're too high up for me to reach, and I need taller hands. But yeah, let's talk about it. I am an annotation girly. I love everything involving annotation. I like shopping for bags to hold my supplies. I like for shopping for highlighters. I like shopping for pens. I like shopping for tabs. I like shopping for everything that involves annotating. I carry this little bag everywhere I go with bookmarks in the front. And then in this pocket, I have pens, highlighters. I have extra pens and highlighters in here. I also have more tabs in the back. And this pocket here just expands so I can hold even more stuff. So yeah, this is my little annotation bag that goes in my purse. I take with me everywhere when I take a physical book. There's that. But yeah, some of my most highlighted books. If you're interested in my annotation supplies and my favorites, let me know. Girls got you. I've been annotating for a long time, and I have my tried and trues. Might not be everybody's tried and trues, but they're definitely mine. So if you're interested, let a girl know. Let's start with the books. Mona Awad is one of my absolute favorite authors in the world. I have annotated her books to the gods and back. This is my favorite book by Mona Awad, All's Well. The chronic illness rep in this book is made me feel so seen. All the scenes where I felt seen by the chronic illness rep are highlighted in blue. I love to highlight the edges of the pages because it gives me kind of like a snapshot. I just think adds really depth and interesting, like eye-catching material to the annotation. And of course, you can see all the tabbies. I write in my books. I find that it personalizes the book for me. It makes it even more mine. It's a memory of when I read the book and how I was feeling. And I am a rereader. So if I go back to reread, I use a different color and different color tabs, and I see if I feel the same when I reread it a second time. I find that to be really fun to see how I've grown, how different experiences in my life have changed the way I might see the content of the book. I don't reread every book that I read, but I do reread a lot. So I just love that. And again, I do mark in my books. I write in them. I highlight in them. I do whatever I feel like doing. I doodle because they are mine, and that makes it even more mine, in my opinion. I love the personalization that annotation can give you, and I just really enjoy the aesthetics and the look of annotated books. For the record, on my phone, my lock screen is a picture of these 3 books with the annotation out. So that tells you something. Up next is my copy of Wuthering Heights. I've read this twice, and I have annotated it to the gods and back. It is marked in, it is written in, it is just, it's the spine is broken. I don't typically break the spines of my books, not because I'm against it, because they're my books. If I want to rip the spine apart, I will. I actually do love a broken spine, but I don't always find this just happened naturally. I think it's just the kind of book it was. But granted, I've read this book 3 times and the spine is perfect. It's just this one's, and I do like the way it becomes when the spine's broken. So I don't really hate it. But I just loved this book so much. This is probably one of my top classic reads, and I ate this up. Next, I gave you a little sneak peek there, is the Poppy War trilogy. I've read this series 3 times. Look at that. 3 times I've read this trilogy. I might like it slightly. But yeah, first of all, the flop. Love that about this series. But yeah, I definitely had a lot to say. There's a lot of themes in here that I was taking apart. Now, I don't always annotate for critical thinking. Sometimes I'll just circle or highlight a word or underline a word and be like, excuse? Like, it's just, it's what I felt at the time that I felt I needed to get out. But there are critical, like, theme-based annotations as well. I am a very chaotic annotator. I will annotate literally anything that I feel like annotating, and I just do. And if I need more room to write, I use see-through sticky tabs to give me room to write a whole paragraph, and then I'll just stick it in the book. But yeah, I just love to annotate, you guys. I do. I'm not even going to pretend like I don't. Dragon Republic also. Now, sometimes the tabbies will match. Sometimes they won't. It just depends. I always try to match them. Sometimes the tabbies mean a certain thing, and sometimes they just mean I wrote here. Most of the time, they mean I wrote here, and they just are whatever color. Sometimes, if I find I'm really reading thematically, like I'm really finding character development, I'm finding obsession, I'm finding exploration of gender or whatever, I will do color coded tabs for they mean certain things. But for the most part, it just means there's a notation here. But yeah, the Poppy War trilogy, some of my most annotated. Up next is the first book in the main series of Malazan. This is Gardens of the Moon, and this one is just chaotic, and it makes me love it. The tabs, I ran out of certain tabs halfway through. The red tabs mean a new character. Just this one, I tried to do tabs meaning certain things in a way. Some of them just mean that's where I left a notation, but the red tabs mean a new character was introduced. And I ate this one up, you guys. I used tabs. I used see-through post-its. I took this one on a ride, and I had a great time doing it. This was one of my most fun annotations that I remember. It's also the book that made me fall in love with Malazan. I loved that book. And last for this video, and certainly not least, my copies of the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, another one of my favorite authors. I got to meet him, and I got him to sign my annotated books. I know, I'm such a nerd, I'm sorry. But yeah, I was so excited by this. I got to see him talk with George R.R. Martin here at the Kiva Theater, and he signed all my books. He would only sign 5 books per ticket. So I have all of his books, which are definitely more than 5. So I made my husband buy a full-fledged ticket, come with me, and carry 5 more books with him. So they would, and then I just said, just sign them to me. Does it matter what name you put in them? He's like, I don't care. So I have most of his books signed by him. And I just, again, see, the tabbies don't match. These are blue. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. Like, these are blue, and so this matches. But I just had a great time with these books. These books are what made me fall in love with Joe Abercrombie. These are grimdark fantasy, and I definitely want to reread these soon because I'm missing his writing. I've read everything he's written at this point, so there's nothing new until he puts something new out. So it's just a matter of waiting until something new comes out. And sometimes when I'm missing a favorite author or their writing, I'll just start their books over again and work my way through them very slowly. But yeah, that is my First Law trilogy. So those are some of my most annotated books. Some more that I remembered that I can't reach are my N.K. Jemisin, the blood. Why am I like completely? The Dream Blood duology is highlighted to the Gods and Back, as well as the Broken Earth trilogy by her. And then my copy of Sword of Kaigen. That thing is just, it looks like I've written in that thing. I read that book 3 times as well, and I just wrote all over it. And I love it, but it's really high up and I can't reach it. But I might be able to get them down and do a follow-up video with more annotations if you are interested in seeing some more books that I've very heavily annotated, or if you want a deeper dive into see some of my annotations, let me know in the comments.